Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
In previous class, we discussed derived heat equation and the various possible solutions of heat equation by variable separable method. Today, we discuss our derived wave equation, one-dimensional wave equation in particular. One-dimension wave equation. How many joined? Only 33. Okay, anyway, let's start. One-dimensional wave equation. Let's consider a flexible string tightly stretched between two fixed points, say A and B. Suppose this is the point A. This is a fixed point, and this is another fixed point, say B. This is the string tightly stretched between these fixed points. If you pull this string vertically upwards or downwards, waves will be formed like this, right? If you pull upwards or downwards, waves will be formed like this. That means only vertical movement will be there. There will be no horizontal movement in the string. Let's consider one part of this moving string like this. This one part. I take this part. This is the same part. It goes like this. This is x-axis. Let this be origin and this is y-axis. There will be no horizontal motion in the string. I consider one part like this. This is one part. I took one part and this is the part. Let rho be the density of the string. Density means mass per unit length or a degree of compactness. Let rho be the density of the string, rho. The motion of the string is in small transverse vibrations. Now this is the amplitude. This is the amplitude. Say u at a distance x from the origin and the time t. This is the amplitude. Consider a small portion of the string between x and x plus delta x. This is at a distance x units from the origin, and this is at a distance x plus delta x units from the origin. This is delta x, not dx, delta x, x plus delta x, and this is x. This is a small portion of the string. When the string is stretched like this, there will be a tension acting on the string. At this point, the tension will be like this in this direction. This is the tension. At this point, tension will be like this. This is the tension at x plus delta x, and this is the tension at x. If I draw a perpendicular from y-axis to this point like this, there will be an angle between this perpendicular and this tension. Let it be alpha. Similarly, I draw a perpendicular like this. There will be an angle between tension and this perpendicular. Let it be beta. Now, vertical component of the force acting at this point is T into sine alpha. T into sine alpha. This is the vertical component of the force acting at x. Similarly, vertical component of the force acting at x plus delta x will be T into sine beta at this point. T into sine beta. T into sine beta. Therefore, vertical component of the force acting on the string between x and x plus delta x will be difference of these two. That means T into sine beta minus T into sine alpha. The vertical component of the force acting on the element or acting on the segment x to x plus delta x is given by T into sine beta minus T into sine alpha. Whenever the angle is very small, there will be no difference between sine theta and tan theta because sine theta is equal to 0 or sine 0 is equal to 0. and tan 0 is equal to 0. This is when the angle is very small. Sin theta and tan theta will be same. Therefore, t into sin beta minus t into sin alpha can be written as t into tan beta minus t into tan alpha. What is the geometrical meaning of tan theta? What is the geometrical meaning of tan theta? ಏನು represent ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದು?
Slope.
Slope. That's right. Tan t tan b minus t tan alpha. This is the t tan alpha is the slope at this point, and t tan beta is the slope at this point, and slopes are given by derivatives. Therefore, t into t is common in both the terms. You keep t outside. Tan beta is del u by del x slope at x plus delta x at this point, and the tan alpha is del u by del x slope at this point x. And we know that F is equal to m into a. This is Newton's second law of motion. F is equal to m into a, where m is mass and a is acceleration. F is equal to m into a, or a is equal to f. In either ways, you can write that ma is equal to f. M is mass, and mass is this thickness of the string, that is delta x. Delta x into density, that is mass, into acceleration is del square u divided by del t square. This is the motion u x comma t. Velocity will be del u by del t, and acceleration will be del square u divided by del t square. This is equal to RHS as this. Therefore, del square u divided by del t square is equal to t divided by rho, this t divided by rho, into del u by del x at x plus delta x minus del u by del x at x whole divided by delta x. And we are going to establish this result at a point. To consider a point, this delta x must be 0. When this delta x is equal to 0, these 2 points will coincide. Therefore, take limit on both sides as delta x tends to 0. Take limit on both sides as delta x tends to 0. As delta x tends to 0, there will be no difference in the left hand side. Del square u divided by del t square. There will be no difference because there is no delta x here. It remains unchanged. Del square u divided by del t square. T divided by rho is a constant. Let it be c square. And what do you call this? Limit delta x tends to 0, del u by del x at x plus delta x minus del u by del x at x whole divided by delta x. What is this limit actually? Last class I told you. What is this limit? Limit delta x tends to 0, del u by del x at x plus delta x minus
Differentiability.
Yes, differentiability. Differentiability of what? Differentiability of del u by del x.
Del u by del x.
Yes, differentiability of del u by del x with respect to what? With respect to x.
Dx.
Yes, this is differentiability of del u by del x with respect to x. That can be written as del by del x of del u by del x. Correct? This is differentiability of del u by del x. That can be written as del square u divided by del x square. That's what I have written here. Del square u divided by del t square is equal to c square into del square u by del x square. That is the wave equation. You can make a note of this. Or take a screenshot. If you want, I can share you this in the afternoon. ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. If you have any doubts, you can unmute. Now it's cleaned. You can take a screenshot. This is first part. Okay, physical TMA. This is second. If you do not have doubts, you can go to the next part. Next part. This is the next part. Solution of wave equation by the method of separation of variables. Various possible solutions actually. Various possible solutions by the method of separation of variables. Let's consider the wave equation. Del square u by del t square is equal to c square into del square u by del x square. This is a wave equation. Let's make an assumption that u is equal to xt be the solution, where x is a function of x only and t is a function of t only. Consider the wave equation del square u divided by del x square, that is equal to c square into del square u by del x square. Let's make the assumption as we did in the previous case. Let u is equal to xt be the solution, where x is a function of x and t is a function of t only. We make this assumption first. Substitute. Since u is a solution, it must satisfy this equation. Del square u divided by del t square is equal to c square into del square u by del x square. Substitute u. U is equal to x into t, capital letter X into t, where x is a function of x only and t is a function of t only. Substitute. Del square by del t square of u is capital letter X into y is equal to c square into del square by del square of capital letter X into t. And this is partial derivative with respect to t. That means x is to be treated as constant. Keep this x outside. X into del square t divided by del t square. This is equal to c square into this partial differentiation is with respect to x. Therefore, t must be treated as constant. Keep this t outside. C square t into del square x divided by del x square. Since this capital letter T is a function of T only, there is no difference between differentiation and partial differentiation. For example, this T is equal to plus 2. Differentiate. Del T divided by del T is equal to 1. Partial derivative of T plus 2 with respect to T is partial differentiation of this capital letter T with respect to T is 1. Similarly, derivative of T with respect to T is also 1. There is no difference between partial differentiation and actual differentiation here, because T is a function of T only. Therefore, del square T divided by del T square can be written as d square T divided by dt square. For the same reason, del square x divided by del x square can be written as a d square x divided by dx square. Transform this capital X to right hand side, it becomes 1 by x, and this c square t to left hand side, it becomes 1 over c square t. All the terms which include t to the left hand side and all the terms which include x to the right hand side. Now let's equate each of these two ratios to a common constant sec k, that is equal to k. Now let's consider each part separately and solve. First, I consider this 1 by x into d square x divided by dx square is equal to k. And then I consider 1 over c square t into d square t divided by dt square is equal to k. First, I consider this. Okay. Let's take this part first. D square x divided by dx square is equal to k into x, or x into k. This is the partial derivative. Sorry, this is the differential equation. D square x by dx square is the double derivative. It is denoted by capital letter D square. Minus x into k is equal to 0. Clearly, this is an ordinary differential equation with constant coefficients. And k is the constant. There will be three cases. This k may be a positive constant, this k may be a negative constant, or k is equal to 0. Let's consider these three cases one by one. Suppose k is a positive constant. That means k is equal to p square. I take p square because for all values of p square is positive. When p is positive, p square is positive. When p is negative, then also p square is positive. That's why I take k is equal to p square. This is positive constant. Then the auxiliary equation will be m square minus k is equal to 0 and k is equal to p square. We get m square is equal to p square. Therefore, m is equal to plus or minus p. Both the roots are real and distinct. Therefore, rule number 1 is applicable. X is equal to c1 into e power mx. M is px plus c2 into e power mx. Now m is minus p into x. This will be the solution when k is a positive constant. When k is a negative constant, auxiliary equation will be m square is equal to k. K is minus p square. Therefore, m is equal to plus or minus I into p, complex roots. Plus or minus I into p, real part is 0 and imaginary part is p. Rule number 3 is applicable. Therefore, x is equal to c3 into cos px plus c4 into sin px. This is the solution when k is a negative constant. When k is equal to 0, auxiliary equation will be m square, this is 0. M square is equal to 0. M square is equal to 0 means m is equal to 0, 0. Real and repeated roots. Therefore, rule number 3 is applicable. Therefore, x is equal to c5 plus c6 into x into e power 0x is 1. You need not write it. Next, I take this equation, this differential equation. D square t divided by dt square is equal to k into c square t. This is the equation. D square t divided by dt square is a double derivative. It is denoted by capital letter D square minus c square k into t equal to 0. Clearly, this is differential equation with constant coefficients. Again, there will be three cases. K may be a positive constant, k may be a negative constant, or k is equal to 0. First case, when k is a positive constant, say k is equal to p square. When k is equal to p square, auxiliary equation will be m square is equal to c square p square. Therefore, m is equal to plus or minus cp. The roots are real and distinct. Therefore, rule number 1 is applicable. T is equal to c7 constant, c7 into e power m into t. Here t is a function of t. Therefore, cp into t plus c8 into e power m into t. M is minus cp into t. This is the solution. Next, when k is negative, say k is equal to minus p square, then auxiliary equation will be m square is equal to c square into k, and k is minus into p square, minus c square p square. Therefore, m is equal to plus or minus I into cp. Both the roots are complex roots. Therefore, rule number 3 is applicable. T is equal to, real part is 0 and imaginary part is cp. Some constant c9 into cos cp into t plus c10 into sin cp into t. This is second case. Last, when k is equal to 0. When k is equal to 0, auxiliary equation will be m square is equal to 0. Therefore, m is equal to 0, 0. Therefore, solution will be rule number 3 applicable here. C11 plus C12 into t into e power 0t. E power 0t is 1. Now, conclusion. The various possible solutions are, what was the assumption? Assumption was that u is equal to x into t be the solution. When k is a positive constant, x is equal to c1 into e power px plus c2 into e power minus px. This is the solution. Into t is c7 into e power cpt plus c8 into e power minus cpt, x into y. This is when k is a positive constant. When k is a negative constant, x is equal to c3 into cos px plus c4 into sin px. Here, c9 into cos cpt plus c10 into sin cpt. This is the solution. When k is equal to 0, x is c5 plus c6x and t is c11 plus c12t. That's the solution. Various possible solutions. You make a note of this. If you have any doubts, you can unmute. You can expect one derivation in the examination. We have 4 derivations here separately. Heat equation, various possible solutions of heat equation. We did it in the previous class. And then wave equation and various possible solutions of various possible solutions of wave equation. You can expect one in the examination. Is this clear? Wave equation and its solution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last part of this model, partial differential equation, last part. Lagrange's linear partial differential equations of the form P into P plus Q into Q is equal to R. You'll be given a differential equation in this form to solve. Here, capital P may be a function of x, may be a function of x and y, may be a function of x, y, and z. Similarly, Q and R. P, Q, R may be functions of x, functions of x, y, functions of x, y, and z. That is called Lagrange's partial differential equation, Lagrange's linear partial differential equations. Working procedure. First, we have to construct the auxiliary equation. Auxiliary equation is always dx divided by coefficient of the small letter p, that is capital letter P. That is equal to dy divided by coefficient of small letter q is denoted by capital letter Q, is equal to dz divided by r. Whatever there in right hand side, you treat it as r. The resultant is called auxiliary equation. This is first working rule. Next, second working rule. Solve these auxiliary equations by the method of grouping. By the method of grouping means here you can consider first and second ratios. You can consider first and second ratio, or you can consider first and third ratio. First and third ratio, or you can consider second and third ratio. Second and third ratio. If you consider first and second ratio, construct a differential equation connected with these two ratios and find the solution. Let it be u is equal to a. Next, consider first and third ratio. Construct a differential equation and find its solution. Let it be v is equal to b. Or you can consider first and third, or you can consider this and this. You construct two solutions like this, and the general solution is given by an arbitrary function phi of u comma v is equal to 0, or u is equal to phi of v, or v is equal to phi of u. You can write in any one of these three forms. This is grouping method. Sometimes it is not possible for us to group the ratios and construct the differential equation. In such cases, we introduce multipliers here. In such cases, we use multipliers L, M, and N. Three multipliers. We introduce three multipliers L, M, and N such that each of these three ratios, that is dx divided by p, is equal to dy divided by q, is equal to dz divided by r, is equal to, now construct one more ratio, L into dx plus m into dy plus n into dz divided by L into p, LP, plus m into q, MQ, plus n into r, NR. This is equal to, you choose these three multipliers in such a way that this denominator must tend to 0. That is L into dx plus m into dy plus n into dz, whole divided by LP plus MQ plus NR must be 0. Choose multipliers in such a way that LP plus MQ plus NR is equal to 0. Now LX plus L into dx plus m into dy plus n into dz is equal to this one. L into dx plus m into dy plus n into dz is equal to 0 into anything is 0. This will be a simple differential equation. You can solve easily and find the solution and put it in the form. Phi of u comma v is equal to 0. Let's solve a few problems. So you'll come to know what actually this method is. You note on this working rule. First one, solve the differential equation y square z into xp plus xz into q is equal to y square. To eliminate this x from the denominator, you can multiply the equation throughout by x. What you get here is x into y square z divided by xp is y square z plus x into xz is x square z into q is equal to x into y square. This is the given differential equation. Clearly, it is in the standard form. What is standard form? PP plus QQ is equal to R. Clearly, it takes the form. This is capital letter P. P into P plus Q into Q is equal to R. This is capital letter P, this is capital letter Q, and this is capital letter R. What is the first working rule? Construction of auxiliary equation. Auxiliary equation means dx divided by p, dy divided by q, dz divided by r. This is the auxiliary equation. Construct it. Dx divided by p, p is y square z, plus dy divided by q, q is x square z, is equal to dz divided by r, that is x into y square. This is first working rule. Construction of auxiliary equation. Now let's group these ratios. I prefer to consider first and second ratio. Consider dx divided by y square z is equal to dy divided by x square z. First and second ratios are considered. Here, cancel this z with this z. What you get here is x square into dx, x square dx. This is equal to y square into dy. Or you can write it as x square into dx minus y square into dy is equal to 0. Clearly, this is a differential equation obtained by separating the variables. Integrate. What is the integral of x square with respect to x? That is x cube divided by 3 minus integral of y square with respect to y is y cube divided by 3 is equal to an integral constant sec k. Therefore, x cube minus y cube is equal to 3k. Multiply throughout by 3. And 3k is a constant, let it be. This is one solution. This is obtained by considering first and second. Next, I consider first and third. I consider first and third ratios. If you want, you can take second and third also. In either ways, you can do that. I consider first and third. Dx divided by y square z. Dx divided by y square z is equal to dz divided by xy square. You cancel this y square with this y square. X into dx is x dx. This is equal to z into dz is z into dz. Or you can write it as x into dx minus z into dz is equal to 0. Clearly, this is a differential equation obtained by separating the variables. Integrate. Integral of x is x square by 2 minus integral of z is z square by 2. This is equal to some integral constant, say c. Therefore, x square minus z square is equal to 2c. 2c is a constant, let it be b. If you consider second and third, you get y square minus z square is equal to b. That is also correct. Now write the general solution. General solution is phi of u comma v is equal to 0. That means x cube minus y cube comma x square minus z square. This is equal to 0. So make a note of this. If you consider second and third, you cannot eliminate x. Therefore, you must consider first and third only. First and second, first and third. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's consider one more problem. Solve y square z p is equal to x square z q plus y. First, we shall rewrite this equation. Y square z p x square z q. Transform this term to left hand side. That will be minus x square z q is equal to x square into y. X square into y. Clearly, it takes the standard form. P, capital letter P into small letter p plus capital letter Q into small letter q is equal to R. Clearly, it takes this form. Capital letter P is y square z and capital letter Q is minus x square z and R is x square y. That's what I have written here. y square z into p minus x square z into q is equal to x square y. Now, first working rule. Let's perform first working rule is to construct the auxiliary equation. Auxiliary equation is dx divided by p, capital letter P, is equal to dy divided by capital letter Q is equal to dz divided by capital letter R. Dx divided by here capital letter P is y square z is equal to dy divided by here capital letter Q. Q is minus x square z is equal to dz divided by R, and R is x square y. Auxiliary equation is constructed. This is first working rule. Now let's perform a second working rule. Grouping method. First, I prefer to group first and second ratio, this ratio and this ratio. Dx divided by y square z is equal to dy divided by minus x square z. First and second ratios. Cancel this z with this z. Minus x square into dx.